WLFE DB Radio.
Talk with Teddy starts now. You pick the topic, I pick the guest. Remember, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube page, Facebook, and more. You're listening to Talk with Teddy on WLFE DB Radio Network. Please check out our website at WLFE-DB.com. All right, everybody. It's another episode of Talk with Teddy. I missed you guys, too. We haven't been here since Tuesday. And it's been quiet out there in Talk with Teddy land. But today we're going to change things around. I have Mr. James Anvil Milligan here with us. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Excellent.
This guy has got a lot going on, and kind of reminds me of me. Got lots going on. So basically, we're going to sit here and chat with him for the next hour or so, and he has a job. Actually, you're on furlough right now, as you say.
I'm on furlough right now.
But he has a job that I think would be amazing to have. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think working in a casino would be a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work to get there. There are those of us that when we started it, we spent almost 10 months at the casino training facility to get all our games in and get the hours in the state required. And there's a lot of work to get there, but the casino's a lot of fun, and dealing cards and calling dice and spinning the roulette ball is a blast with the customers.
Yeah. I don't know. What's an average shift? Like 8 hours, 10 hours?
So our casino, the way it runs, our average shift is 8 hours, and you deal for approximately an hour 20 minutes, and you get a 20-minute break. And you just kind of work in that cycle to complete your shift.
Wow.
So the upside of that is that you actually spend about 6 hours on the gaming table, and you get paid for a full 8.
Oh.
Not a bad deal.
Not bad at all, actually. Do you get to stay after and gamble if you want?
We are not allowed to gamble at the facility, but the state will allow us to go anywhere else in the state to gamble if we like to do that.
Well, I noticed you did that little giggle before you said it, so I knew something was coming.
Yeah, they don't mind us gambling in other places, but they don't want us gambling in our own backyard as it was. So
yeah. Well, that's too bad. But which casino did you work at?
So I'm at Tiger Downs, down in Nicholas, New York.
Okay.
And we've been open since December of 2016. And like I said, we spent the majority of 2016 getting trained and ready. And it's been going well. We've really, it's a small casino, but it's done fairly well for itself.
I've never been there.
March.
Yeah, now that is the problem. Any idea whether they're going to let you guys open back up?
So they've been pretty good about keeping us informed. And right now, they are opening. Let's see if we can do this right. They've opened the racetrack so they can start training and getting horses worked and exercise and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
June 1st, they were supposed to open the racetrack for racing, but no fans in the stand. But as of today, I'm not sure if that's still in place because they have suspended phase 2 of reopening for the Southern Tier. So that may put a damper on the racetrack, but I don't know. I haven't heard that part of it yet. We're anticipating possibly July 1st to open up the casino, but right now they're also saying that they may just do the slot machines to begin with and then open up table games a little bit later on. So no one's really hammered out a clear plan and conveyed that to the dealers yet.
Now, what's the process to becoming a dealer? Is it real long and rigorous, or how does that work? I mean, you just don't grab a deck of cards and you're good to go, right?
No, you don't, unfortunately.
A lot of practice at home with your friends and your buddies
Yeah,
with beer,
something like
right?
that. Uh, so each game, each table game at the casino has a set number of weeks you need to train, has a set number of hours that you have to get in before you are recognized by the state as being proficient enough to at least start dealing the game on a casino floor. So everyone starts with blackjack, and that is a 5-week course or approximately 100 hours of training to get certified to be a blackjack dealer.
Mm.
And then along with that, they sneak in the what they call poker alternative games, Texas Hold'em, Let It Ride, um, 3-card poker, 4-card poker, and these are all table games that use the poker basics, but they are either against the dealer or you play with the hand that you have and the hand that the dealer has. And those they kind of work in the last week or so of our training to be allowed to deal those.
Wow.
And then if you want to go on and do craps, which is dice, that's another 10 weeks or approximately 200 hours worth of training. And then roulette's another 5 weeks or another 100 hours worth of training. There's also backgammon and baccarat, or not backgammon, baccarat and Pai-Gow. And these are another 100 hours worth of training with that as well.
Wow, you wouldn't think there'd be that much training in just playing games.
Yeah, well, they, a lot falls on being able to execute procedures that are written down and follow them the exact same way each and every hand. It takes a lot. It's a lot of repetition, a lot of practice. The state gaming board looks for that. If you aren't shuffling the cards the way you're supposed to shuffle them, or you're doing it different every time, they're going to call you out on it, and they're gonna whack the casino with a fine, possibly, and they're definitely going to whack you with a written.
Wow, I don't. I mean, that's a first for me. I wouldn't even think that the way you shuffle or deal cards is really that much of a problem. I mean,
there's a specific way they have to be shuffled, and a specific way they have to be cut, and a specific way they have to go into the shoe and come out of the shoe, and specific times that they get changed every day. There are a boatload of procedures that the state expects you to follow and follow to the letter.
Man, that is amazing that you have to go through that, and just the hours for training. I mean, what you were saying, I mean, that's got to be right around 600 to 700 hours of training.
To be fully trained in all the games, it's about about 700 hours to be fully trained. And then and then there's getting the experience. You're still, even though you can hit the casino floor and start dealing, until you get into a live game and start doing it, there's probably another at least 3, 4, 5 months before you're really comfortable and proficient that it's an automatic pilot type thing.
Do they train you how to look out for cheaters and stuff too, or people that, I don't know, kind of might have a false card up their sleeve or anything like that?
Yeah. As a dealer, we get a very rudimentary list of things to look for that might indicate someone's trying to take the house. A lot of the looking for cheaters, that falls on the pits and the floors. That's our supervisors, and then of course the eye in the sky.
Yeah, people in the cameras. Yeah,
track on things. So
you guys, sorry to interrupt, but you guys are trained to just deal, basically.
Deal the card, be nice to the customers. Any kind of problem, any kind of hiccup, any kind of issue, just automatically kick it over to your floor, who's your first immediate supervisor.
Wow.
Don't argue with the customer, don't fight. Just I'm going to
ask. I'm going to ask. There's no button under the counter, right? There's no secret card being dealt.
No, there's no magnets on the dice table. There's no pedal on the roulette wheel to slow it down.
Well, the movies. Come on, man.
No, I get it. It's not the Old West, unfortunately, but
yeah.
I will tell you, you would think sometimes the way the cards come out, that something's going on. Because I've seen
Right.
people just get whacked and whacked and whacked, hand after hand after hand. And there's been other times that they can't help but win.
Yeah.
I can't help but lose.
Yeah. Lady Luck sitting on their shoulder, as they say.
Absolutely.
Wow. It still boggles my mind about how many hours you have to sit through training for this. Now, I'm pretty sure you had to do, because you're on the floor with a whole bunch of people as well with that, you had to do, like, unless you've already come with that experience. I mean, did they teach you anything like first aid or...
Not my job description.
Okay.
Just
Curious.
My concern are the cards and the chips in the rack.
Yeah.
I don't do anything with first aid. I don't do anything with as far as handling customer complaints. I don't do ideal cards to the customers. I smile. I be nice. I make sure, I pay them correctly, and I take the winnings when it comes back my way. But as far as anything else goes, it's outside my job description, my job purview, and I just don't worry about it.
So, what was the biggest pot that somebody won off you?
Oh, I've had them fit for 2, 3, 4,000, 5,000. Some of the bonuses, some of the progressive pots. It all varies. I've been on roulette when they've been on a winning streak, and they've walked. They bought in for $5 and walked away with 5,000.
Now that's the one that lays flat and spins, or is that the one that's upside? Okay.
No, that's one that lays flat
with a little ball.
Yep, a little ball.
I would lose on that, I think. I mean, I can do okay on like the slots, but I'm a pretty good euchre player. I'm pretty good at Texas Hold'em. I got my own kit, but I'm not anywhere near. I have friends that would go to casinos and play like blackjack or Texas Hold'em, or go to different casinos and just do it, or go to their buddy's house and everybody pitch in quarters and play that way. It's like, oh hell no. Yeah, I can't do that stuff. I would lose my ass even with quarters. I know I would. I just don't have that kind of luck.
Well, again, it's you see a lot of people that go in and they can't help but win, and you see the ones that go in and that can't help but lose.
No, do they really teach you about people counting cards?
Again, they give us the basics of it,
okay,
and the principle behind it, and how to look for it. Like if they all of a sudden they're changing their bets, they're raising it, they're lowering it, they're doing things that are out of the normal. It sometimes is a red flag, but it's really not. Again, it's really not my thing. It's the supervisor that's watching my table and 2 others. It's the pit boss who's watching the 2 supervisors in my section. It's the camera guys and security watching everything from above.
Wow. So what other kind of things in the casino, like you've put down, let's see, you do the blackjack, you do craps, you do roulette table. And what was the other one? You said there was a couple other ones.
Do the poker alternatives. That's to do baccarat and pai gow.
Yeah, what the hell is that one?
So pai gow is it
sounds like a different type of rhubarb or something.
I wish it was that easy. It's an Asian-based game, and it's basically each player gets 7 cards, and they make 2 hands out of it. They make a 5-card hand, and they make a 2-card hand. And in order to win, both their hands have to beat both the hands that I make with the 7 cards I get.
Who the hell comes up with a game like that?
So, well, in this
actually, can we just play slapjack instead?
Yeah, you can play pai gow all day if you want, because if I win, let's say I win the 2-card hand, but I lose the 5-card hand, it's a push. No one wins, no one loses. So you can sit there and go through pushes for a good chunk of the day, and then just win occasionally, or maybe lose occasionally. The big thing with pai gow is that they do bonuses, and that's where you get paid on the bonus if you have a certain hand at a certain time.
Wow. It's Bryce was on there. He says, "Geez, they make y'all work hard during the training. Do they teach you about different ways to cheat too?"
Um,
That's a good
well,
question, Bryce.
we do
Well,
go to the casinos, but
don't get yourself in trouble now.
no, they don't teach us how to cheat, but we start to see that there are things that people do or try to do. Um, I wouldn't try it. There's just too many.
Yeah.
There's actually too many ways to get caught at a casino that knows what they're doing, or even half knows what they're doing, to be worthwhile.
Yeah, you would think that, like even when you watch like the movies, like Ocean's 11 and stuff like that. I think are they up to the 11, 12, whatever,
I don't know
where
if they're
they
working at this
they
point.
yeah, so with all their gambling and everything that they do, there's like so many cameras and so many people walking around there in plain clothes, thinking that they're just, customers. There's people that see in suits and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know how close that is from movie to real casino, but you would have to think that there are so many pairs of eyes on you while you're sitting there, playing that I don't know. I'd feel like Swiss cheese with all the burned holes from everybody's eyes in my back.
Well,
You know?
people still try it. They try to do what we call cap their bet, which is if they have a winning hand, if they think the dealer's distracted, they'll try to add a chip or two to their stack in the betting pile to see if we can get it paid, or they try to, pull back on some of it. Like instead of having, let's say they put three $5 chips out there, they try to do a sleight of hand and get it down to two $5 chips. So if they lose, they're only losing a little bit less. Again,
Right.
you're going to get caught. One way you might get it by a couple times, you might not. You're going to get caught, and once you get caught,
Are
your
you banned
picture,
for life?
um, probably from that casino, and then they send your picture out to all of them.
Wow.
You
So
know,
cheat once and you're screwed.
very, very possibly.
Wow. Wow. It's kind of like the post office, man. You get arrested and they put your picture up in the post office on the wall. I don't know if they still do that, but, that's the way it used to be done in the old days.
Well, and anymore with the technology the way it is now, um, a lot of casinos use facial recognition and things like that. So even if you try to disguise yourself a little bit, you can't change the distance between your eyes and your nose, and there's certain things you just
Right.
do that facial recognition is going to pick up on, and you're going to get tagged.
Yeah.
So the question is, what's going to go on now with, will customers be wearing masks when they're in the casino? All that kind of stuff. That's what I'm curious to see what the new regs are going to be for this COVID-19 to reopen.
Yeah.
'Cause right now you
Not.
can't wear a mask, you can't wear a hat. You got your
Oh.
face has to be visible to the cameras.
Yeah. Now, did you guys like when they were playing? Did they get their drinks free, or did they pay for their drinks too?
At Taco Downs, non-alcoholic beverages are free. They just started comping alcoholic drinks at certain levels of player card accessibility. So not
Hmm.
everyone gets comp drinks. Certain levels, the higher levels get them. But really, the free alcohol wasn't a big thing when we first opened.
Okay, so I got a couple questions here. Um, like you were asking, Teddy, are there any teams of folks coming in to cheat like off of The Simpsons? Ha
Um, I don't think
ha.
we've seen any teams come into our casino, but we
Like
have
a
had
pair?
individuals come in.
Yeah.
So
Man, you gotta have some balls. You know what I mean? I mean, that's you walk in and you think, there's so many people in there and you think you're just going to rob the place by cheating and I don't know. The way my thought is, the way I work is like in my head it's like that takes a lot of balls. No, I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it. Robert White from Australia says, "Yet, how often does a casino cheat, especially with the technology they have now?"
well, I don't know how much they cheat. Again, it's tough to cheat at blackjack. Um, The cards are put into a shoe. I manually deal the cards. The cards
Right.
go from the shoe to you. It's just a matter of where you are, how you're sitting. The dice, we're still throwing the dice manually. We're not doing anything electronic with that. People swear that the shuffling machines shuffle the cards a certain way to figure out what players get what cards, but I've seen big payouts on those games too. So I guess
Give or take, right? 50-50.
you would think.
Robert White also says microchip sensors in the casino that would be able to identify the people. Well, Robert, actually, I'm going to say something here because if you've been watching the news lately a lot, and I've seen it like almost on every day on the news, they're talking about people getting chipped. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah,
That's taking away more of your rights. You know what I mean? Now they're going to be able to trace you taking a shit.
That's a whole nother show. Yeah, I hear you there.
So I don't know. I might be in the mood to go there, so we'll see. Bryce asks a simple question: where does the nickname Anvil come from?
Oh, Bryce, you're killing me. Okay, so, we're going to go back into ancient history. So if you're around in the 80s, and I don't know how many of your guests were around in the 80s, how many listeners, in professional wrestling was a gentleman called Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Oh, my God, he was awesome, too.
Part of the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
And I bore a striking resemblance to Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
You had the
I was
goatee?
about 6 inches shorter, and 6 inches short in all the dimensions, width, height, whatever.
Wow.
But we could have been almost twins.
Wow.
And a lot of my friends and buddies were into it. So I got the name Anvil.
Awesome.
Back in the early 80s. And then along with, doing mundane jobs Monday through Friday, I also did a lot of work at the bars in Binghamton, bouncing, security work, things like that. And sometimes it was better to have a nickname that you know you by rather than your full name to know you by. So Anvil kind of stuck.
Oh, no, I'm a baby, 1995, he says.
Google it. So Anvil stuck, and it's funny because I worked 20 years for Walmart, and with the exception of 18 months when I was at one store and the district manager didn't like nicknames, I went by Anvil. My name tag said Anvil. When regional supervisors, when people from home office would call, they would always talk to me as Anvil. It just, no one had a problem with it except for one district manager.
That's cool.
So actually, if you call me by James, it used to be, I knew that you were from my high school days. And after high school, Anvil was the name that most people knew me by.
There you go. Yeah, I figured Bryce was a baby. I didn't figure he, let's see, where did Robert go? Robert said, yeah, that's what I was referring to as the chips and the people. He also says it'd be good for diplomats if they're getting kidnapped. Yeah, that's about the only thing, unless they chop off the arm that the chip is in and throw the arm somewhere like in a lion's cage or an alligator.
Well, even now, there's technology out there that can see exactly where that chip is, and it's not like it's embedded deep in your body.
It's just under the skin.
They'll just cut it out, but it's your hand, your arm, your neck, your back, your butt, wherever. They'll get it out.
A nice, good, quick blade. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Let's see. I love that. Thank you for sharing, Anvil, and fuck that district manager.
Eventually.
Oh, that's amazing. Robert's like, darn basket women. Baskin women? Is that what you meant, Robert? Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's cool. I had a couple nicknames. I can't say a couple of them, but yeah, I had a couple. Most of the time I was called either T-Dub, TW, or T. That was it for the most part. So it was pretty easy. And then, well, when you come from a family where everybody's name starts with a T, Ted,
Oh yeah,
Judy, Ted, Tim,
right.
Ty, TJ, Tina, you're kind of like, oh my God, somebody do something with these people. Why has everybody got to start with a T? It's nuts. So, all right. So, I love the whole casino thing, and I really hope it opens back up for you. I hope that you can get back there and go to work. I mean, there's a lot of money just all the way across the board that's going nowhere. It's just sitting there because nobody can work. And as much as I even want to go back to work, I know I can't because I'm kind of stuck here no matter what at this point. But I know that we need to get going out there. We need to do it, but we need to be safe too. I mean, I don't want anybody, and I just don't want them bringing it back to me or back to my parents where I risk their lives. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
my thing. So I want to reach out also. So you're not just a dealer in a casino.
No, that's
You're
just
a
my latest incarnation.
you're a tarot dealer.
Maybe, well, I guess that's one way to look at it. Uh,
Well,
I,
I just tarot cards. You're a
I
reader.
I read tarot cards, and I've been doing that for whew, probably going well almost 30 plus years.
So you've had cards in your life for a long time.
Yeah, oddly how life works out on that.
Can you fling them into a hat?
I can get some into the hat, but
you know, I remember what the hell was it that I was watching? These people put up these watermelons and they'd take their cards and they'd fling them and they'd stick them into watermelons.
yeah, I haven't gotten quite that skilled at it yet. But
Now you're
need
going to practice
need
it. Now that I mentioned it, I see you're going to practice
the
it. There
throwing
you go.
cards, yeah, that might be something you can work on.
Oh man, why not? Life is too short. I mean, some things that I've noticed with this whole COVID thing is like for the 2 months that I've been stuck here, I find myself laughing more at the stupidest things. Um, just I think it's because I'm stuck here. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And then there's other things where you get so frustrated and angry with and um but you know what? Tarot cards, I actually owned a deck once, but it disappeared, which I was always told if it left on its own, then it wasn't meant for me. That's what I was told.
there's a lot of there's a lot of ritual and myth and things like that behind tarot, and you know, a lot of it was meant to kind of discourage people from actually getting too involved with it, or if they did, sometimes they made it so odd that people would have second thoughts. But
Hmm.
it's a I found it to be a very interesting practice. I actually learned it at the community college in a night course.
Oh, no kidding.
It was our local community college did like a community education thing where you could take classes and learn new and different things or skills. And I took a 6-week class on tarot reading, and by the end of the class, I developed quite a knack at it,
So it
and
was extra credit, right?
it was extra credit. Um, and went from there. I practiced more and got more familiar with it, and then started doing readings for other people, and then trying to make a little side money at it, and it just went from there.
Wow. Look at that. Bryce has got another one for you. He says, I love tarot cards and the occult. Used to study Wicca in the basement on my family's Wii. I don't know anything about that, but
Was it the family Wii or the family Ouija?
there you go.
Uh,
Um, that's it's funny because my for Paratalk Radio, my co-host is Psychic Cindy, and she does tarot. She does all the psychic readings. She does all that stuff. And I'm constantly in conversation about the paranormal and the psychics and the ghosts and the hauntings. My books, everything that I've done on, I've been on a few shows and all that stuff. But what it comes down to for me is I really find it interesting that, like, I can go, well, Barnes & Noble's closed up here, which kind of sucks because I used to go there to get my books.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can buy everything in Amazon, and it's usually cheaper than going to Barnes & Noble. But the tarot deck that I bought had absolutely nothing to do with the paranormal, which I thought was really cool because I was looking for something different. You know what I mean? Something odd. And it was actually Native American animals.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Totems,
And that's kind of the neat thing about tarot and tarot decks and tarot cards, and I think why it's become over the years more and more interesting and popular is that the tarot decks are just as much about art and creativity as they are about telling the future.
Yeah, there's some beautiful cards out there.
And all kinds of people. They design decks, they make decks. Andy Warhol made a tarot deck.
Well, Andy Warhol, of all people.
Yeah, of all people do that. But, so it's as much about the art, and there are some beautiful decks, and, they all have the kind of consistent theme. They kind of stick to a basic line of how they're made, what they're made, the pictures, the thoughts behind it.
Right.
But I've got a ton of decks, and I only use one. There's only one I use when I do readings, but I have a boatload of decks that I have just for the artwork and the looks and things like that. And really the tarot, I personally really don't equate the tarot to the paranormal. Not the way I do it. Okay. Now, my wife, and when you live with a psychic and married and things like that, my wife's a psychic, and she uses a tarot deck every now and then when she's doing stuff. But what she sees and what I see when we look at the same cards,
totally different, right?
Miles apart. They kind of wind up at the same destination, but there's definitely two paths that got us there. Wow. So, it's one of those things that I've seen too much over 30 years to just chalk it up to coincidence when the cards talk about something or show something.
There's a lot of people that I'm seeing that have over the years. I've been doing this a long time in the paranormal, so it's like you would see psychic mediums when they come in with the investigations, they would use tarot cards. You would see them use their pendulums. They would use pretty much anything that a normal, I'm going to say, gypsy type divination stuff.
Right.
And somebody will probably get mad at me for that, but oh well. My show, I can say what I want. That's right. And but we all are looking for the same thing. We're all looking for answers. We're all looking for proof or the debunking or whatever the case may be. But with tarot cards, if you were to take each tarot card for face value and now, like you said, your wife and you read them differently, but you seem to get to the same, different paths. It might go a long way around the barn. She's going to the left, you're going to the right, whatever. Right. But you end up on the same path. I find that interesting. I find that very cool, and because I've seen people using tarot cards and same deck, two psychics, and totally reading them and be way off against each other, like magnets bouncing off each other. So it is really kind of neat for me to hear that you were able to kind of come on the same path. Now, is that maybe due to the fact that you've lived with each other so long and that you know each other so well, or same energy?
Well, I think the same energy. I think that's probably the way to do it. But I don't know if the same energy between us as it is the same energy in the universe.
That's right there in front of you. Yeah, around you. Yeah.
I always joke. When we do psychic fairs together, things like that. Someone will come up and ask. I said, well, if you're looking to talk to the dead, go see my wife. And if you might just know the future and what's going on around you, you can talk to me if you'd like. So I try to push the people looking for dead people towards her, and then I'll keep the other ones as my customers and give them a reading as well.
Hmm. It's just tarot cards are really cool, and I agree with you about the art. I mean, those cards that I bought, which I can't find, um, it was just the totems, it was the animals, the artwork. It was just fantastic, and it was actually something I originally thought, if I'm not going to use them, then I want to put them on like a frame and
Yeah.
on the wall because they were so freaking pretty, you know. Um, But, it is what it is. But there's so many of them. There's round ones, square ones, triangle ones.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tarot, there's oracle cards, which are a little bit different. There's just, you can
Thousands of
actually
them,
use
right?
playing deck
Just,
cards if you wanted to.
yeah,
There's a whole system set up for just playing deck. And the
just a
nine of
plain.
diamonds and the ten of spades and the jack
Really?
of hearts, and they all have their own meanings as well if you want to just use tarot deck or use a playing deck of cards.
I may have to check that out. That might be cool. That way, if I get bored with that, I can just play Texas Hold'em and everything else.
I know sometimes when I'm doing grave shift at the casino and I get a little bored, I'll do some side readings there with the cards while they're just sitting on the table not doing nothing.
There you go. Sounds like fun. Oh, man, that would be funny. So, any questions in the chat room, guys? Come on now. You guys started out hot here. What happened? You kind of falling asleep on me over here because we're talking about tarot cards? All right, so we're going to move on because I want to talk about now. You're, like I said in the beginning, you're kind of a talented individual. You have a lot of things going on, and you are a what is it?
Oh,
Co-owner or creator, or no? What's the word I'm looking for?
co-host,
Co-
co-founder.
Co-founder. Thank you. It left the building just like Elvis did.
Right,
Left, whatever. So co-founder of a paranormal group.
right.
So
So
that's Specters.
I co-founded S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S with actually my wife and I kind of founded it together. I didn't approach her; she didn't approach me. We just kind of started talking about it one day, and we said, "Hey, I got this idea. Hey, I got the same idea." And Specters, which is the study of paranormal events confirmed through science, Specters, science, evidence, research, and science. It's a long acronym. I like acronyms. I like when they spell out words.
Yeah, that is pretty long.
It is.
Hey,
Uh,
but you know what? You'll never forget it though, because
well,
it's so freaking long.
remember all the words. They just don't always go in right. I don't always spell the word specter if I don't say it right.
Okay.
But and we started that back in 2011, and it kind of just started out with there were other people in the area that were interested in the paranormal, and they were just looking for a place to talk and chat, a safe spot, a safe space that they could talk about this without being made fun of or things like that. And we did that for about a year, and we finally got the core group interested enough that they wanted to go out and do investigations. So Alani's, psychic and medium abilities were there. I did several years in my youth with both public and private security and investigating. So I had that going for me. The tarot. By this time, I'd already, not just the tarot, but also interested in the occult and spiritual things. So I had that as well. And we started doing investigations, and it's just grown from there.
Right. So is that specters.com?
S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S.
Specters dot. I want to put it in here for you. .us.
Yep.
Just the word specters.
Specters.
You got it. Make sure I'm spelling it right here. Specters, right?
That's it.
Hey, found the first try.
Absolutely.
People are going, what the hell is specters.us?
Yeah, unfortunately, .com was already gone, so I went the next best thing was .us. So I figured we don't do a lot of international stuff, so I just keep it to the U.S.
There you go. It works. So, any interesting cases you want to tell us about? Anything? I mean, not like all the details, but something cool.
Something cool. A couple of cool things. Probably one of the first bigger investigations we did as a group was a place locally called the Bundy Museum of art and history.
Okay.
This place was actually built back in 1892 by Harlow Bundy and his wife. And the name Bundy may not, other than Ted Bundy, this Bundy and this Bundy actually was the great grandfather founder of IBM.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Shortly after the turn of the century, his timekeeping company got more industrious, and when he finally sold it to Thomas Watson took it on to become IBM. But this Harlow Bundy is basically the forefather of the IBM company, and Endicott was its main place for many, many, many decades down here. We found there's always been activity at this place. His house has always had activity, and people have seen things and heard things. And Alani has always seen a young girl up in the window since Alani herself was a young girl. And when we investigated, we found a lot of interesting things, a lot of EVPs. We actually, from time to time, when we can, investigate with a intuitive medium. And our intuitive medium will sketch what she sees.
That's interesting.
She'll also allow herself to be kind of taken over, almost like automatic writing. But she draws. And she drew several sketches that night, and we really were able to match them up with at least 4 or 5 photographs from the Bundy Museum of people that were associated with the house, but their pictures weren't in the house. So Suzanne didn't have a reference to go by, just what her sketches were. It's interesting because when you look at the history, a lot of these people are still there, and they still haunt the place to this day, and they have no interest in moving on.
Wow. Do you know what's funny, and I'm going to stop you there for a second, is I thought I was the only one that did that. I've only met one other person that was able to go down and allow this to come in you, almost like automatic writing. For years, I would allow them to come into me, and I would actually draw. I've only ran into one other person that could do that. So to me, that's amazing. That's a rarity. It really is.
And that's neat to hear, because up until you just said that, I thought we were the only ones doing it, because you never see it.
Yeah, you don't. And I did it, but I was working for. Sorry to cut you off, James. But when I was doing it, I wasn't even affiliated with GVPI or Scratch Detective or anything like that. I hadn't read any books. I hadn't been on any shows. I hadn't done anything. This was like me as a kid, and then as an adult, I slowly drew. This is like something nobody's ever heard from me except for Cindy. So you're getting some information here that nobody else knew. And I actually worked for, don't kill me for this, guys. I used to work for the California Network.
Okay.
The Psychics California Network.
Yeah,
when I was younger.
Actually, I did a few months with them, but yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, when it first came out, I was working for them. And one of the things that I did was I am able to go into my meditation or trance, whatever you want to call it, and while I'm listening, I'm having this person talk to me, and I'm just having them tell me stories, tell me about their life. And I just sit down and I let the pen go. And I used to carry these really big pads, and I would put it right on a table and just let it go and come out with it. In fact, one of my favorite people in the world, I told her about something that I had no clue about, and to this day, she still says, I don't know how you figured that out. I go, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was a message that was given to me, and
right.
It's very hard to find people that can do that. Cindy, look at that. My girl is here. She said, just wanted to pop in really quick. There's Psychic Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
What is this? Robert says, careful he doesn't go hammer time on you for cutting him off, Ted. Anvil, yep, I get it. Ha ha ha. But anyways, continue on. You made me stop and think because I have never met only but one other person.
Well, and this was the first time we'd ever used Intuitive Artist to do like an investigation.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we talked to her. Ziva, stop. Got my dog in here causing a ruckus. And she's a psychic as well, not just with the drawing. And she's like, yeah, I worked on some sketches at home, and and she showed us some of her sketches. Because yeah, it took about 30, 40 minutes to do these. And I'm thinking, oh, love of God, we can't spend 30, 40 minutes in every room while you do a sketch. So I'm like, hey, this might be a failed experiment. This might not work out the way I was hoping. And we got
20 years later.
Yeah, we got in, and she started to do her first sketch, and it was crazy to watch. It's the way she held the pencil, the speed at which she drew. She was knocking these things out in 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is going to work out nice. So we talk about that one a lot. We got a lot of evidence from it. We usually, when we do evidence reveals in presentations and things like that in public, we definitely refer back to those EVPs we got, the sketches, how we matched them up, and the fact that we're putting a face to the name. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing. I mean, Amy Allen does it in the Dead Files after the fact, and that's kind of cool. But to actually do it in real time is crazy fun.
And you know what? That's something that's not done. I mean, so you're actually doing something that like you said, it's like I don't know anybody else is doing that, and I think that's awesome. So, and Cindy, just so you know, I know you're going to take off on us, but yes, we were talking about tarot cards, but you're going to have to watch it from the beginning, baby.
And I guess what I find interesting is that in all the decades of paranormal shows that have come and gone and are still being produced, they still haven't gone down this avenue.
Yeah.
And I'm just surprised beyond belief.
But you know what? There's a lot of things that they haven't done.
Well, that's true.
If you really think about it.
Yeah.
And it kills me because like today, I mean, I don't know how much you keep up with it. I mean, I turn on the TV and you can't help but go to Travel Channel or Destination America. You know what I mean? You can't help it because that's where all the shows are. And there's one I despise immensely. And I always make sure that if it's on, I'll watch freaking Jeopardy before I watch his show. And I'm not a Jeopardy guy whatsoever. So I'll watch something stupid. But, like Paranormal Survivor, when that came out, I watched it. I thought it was okay until I ended up being on that show a couple times. And I was actually really dissatisfied with the way they took the stories and blew them out of proportion. And then I went to Ghost Nation, and I was on the first season with Jason. And it was so refreshing to hear from somebody that's been in the field that point blank, James tells you, I don't want you to say something you're not uncomfortable with, that you're uncomfortable with. I don't want you to lie. I don't want you to fabricate anything. I want you to tell the truth. How often do you hear that?
Right.
And it's like, so to me, I found a newfound respect for Jason, but he did live in my area. So we did, grow up in the same town more or less. So, but there are things that, and I find it with him now, there are things that he's trying that's totally out there, and he should. I think all of these shows should be doing some other things.
You need to, the field's still wide open.
But still new. I mean, to be honest with you, but yeah, I love it. I mean, those guys were great to work with. I will always give them kudos for for that. They did an awesome job. But, in the paranormal field, we go through so much shit, and we listen to so much shit. I think we listen to more shit than we do get through the shit, because it's just everybody's got something to say, and, it's kind of like that thing. It's like if everybody had a voice and was able to speak on like an open forum without somebody criticizing them, wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, absolutely.
Just to say what your opinion is, what you think it could be, how to get there, I have this little thing that we say on Paratalk Radio all the time. It's like everybody can bring something to the table because everybody has something to bring to the table.
Right.
Everybody's different. We all investigate different. We all think, well, like myself, I tell people, think outside the paranormal box. That's why I wrote the book, Think Outside the Paranormal Box. Because I want you guys to stop thinking about the same old shit that we normally do, that we chase our tails like over and over and over. It's always the same thing. Try something new, do something that nobody else has ever done. And that's why when you said you were doing that, I'm thinking that is awesome. I think it's a great way to kind of extend to an area that hasn't been done. Doing it in real time, I don't think it has been done. And if it has, it's nothing I've heard of.
Right.
Nobody else has been talking about anything like that. You don't see it on the TV shows.
No, never.
But like you see Dead Files at the end. But kudos for you.
I think,
kudos.
We talked about Alani and me going different routes and getting to the same location and conclusion. And I think it's that way with the paranormal as well. You can investigate the same location and wind up with two different investigations.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't mean either one's wrong. Doesn't mean either one didn't investigate correctly. I know we investigated a property down in PA, and about a year later, Amy and Barry from Kindred Spirits investigated the same property as one of their shows. I think it was one of their first shows. And different results.
Right.
Different spirits were contacted, but both were equally set right with the client. So,
but what's interesting about stuff like that, and this is something that I've always thought was, I'm hoping you guys do, like, paranormal teams that are out there with your research, I hope everybody's keeping notes. I hope they're putting things on disk or on thumb drives and they're saving this stuff, because I think when you do a place and then 6 months, a year down the road, somebody else goes to the same location and you catch wind of it, hopefully you're able to share that, because you want to be able to say, what do you have that connects with mine to help get us to that point of what's really going on there. It's taking that information, sharing it, and using it to point to a direction that neither team had, to find out the truth. And the only way that happens is by, unfortunately, for some people, because their egos are bigger than their whatever. But, it's, that's the only way in this field we're going to be able to move forward is we have to be able to share, look at case by case. You know how many teams have done the same place over and over? Like, you've done Hinsdale how many times now? 3 or 4 times?
We've been up to Hinsdale. Alani and I have been up there twice, and Alani's been up there one more time than that. So she's been up there 3 times.
Okay, I've been up there 4 times.
Right.
So, but for us to sit down with what I've gotten and you've gotten and just collaborate, just talk about, and maybe see if we can link it together like a puzzle, nobody's doing that stuff.
No, and I know we constantly talk to Daniel all the time, class.
Yeah.
About what's going on and what we're doing.
I have a lot of respect for that man. A lot.
Huge. Dan is one of the, I think, new kids on the block type when it comes to the paranormal field. And I think
but he's got his shit together, and he really is trying to do the best for the community, the paranormal community. And he has got he's talked me down to situations a couple times. I mean, he's made me think a different direction on certain things. And like I said, I have nothing but respect for him. And for me, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the field. If you can share and work alongside other people without an ego, without pressing buttons and pissing people off, and look to really find the truth or really debunk what's going on and work together on this stuff, then I'm for it, But if your ego is getting away, see ya.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think it depends on who's investigating.
Yeah.
I know the first time Alani and I were at Hinsdale, we were up with some other people, and we got some stuff, we really didn't get a whole lot. It didn't, that particular visit didn't live up to everything that we'd heard and seen about Hinsdale. And then we were up again just this past summer, and it was crazy. It was a crazy evening at the Hinsdale house. So in the summer, we were up there, and there was my wife, Alani, and there were probably 2 or 3 or at least 4 other psychics up there, along with everyone else investigating. I think sometimes that seems to draw things out, bring things more into, a realm where we can make contact. Versus the first time we were at Hinsdale, and it was just, Alani was kind of the only really psychic up there. Everyone else was kind of, they investigated, but they were more along the strictly scientific methods. And I don't think we got as much response from the spirits as we do when you throw 3 or 4 psychics into the room and see what happens.
There's that old story. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there's that old story about in gypsies and old seers used to talk about the story, and basically what it was is that psychic mediums, anybody that has the gift, is like a light, is like a beacon. Yep. So if you're in a dark room, and that person is a beacon to everything else out there that is in another realm or another dimension. So they're able to see that, and it draws out. Is that true? I have no idea. But I can say that I've heard the story 100 times that psychic mediums or anybody that has a gift is a beacon, is a light to where it can draw things in. And, if you can get 3 or 4 mediums or psychics in one spot, I guess that would be a really bright, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a light tower or something to draw in more energy or things that,
I believe that wholeheartedly. That just attracts energy from the other side, without a doubt.
Yeah. So it's, I it's kind of funny because for some reason in my mind I was thinking lightning bug, but it's kind of like if you put one lightning bug in a dark room, all the other lightning bugs are gonna come to that lightning bug. Don't
jar, we're all set.
I have been in COVID, locked up too long. I have a 3rd book I'm working on, and I haven't touched it in 2 months, so that tells you.
Yeah, you would think with all this time in our hands, we'd be doing all kinds of productive things, and it just doesn't happen.
Linnell Compton says, we definitely need to be more interactive among ourselves for sure.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%.
Absolutely.
100%. There is no... if you're fortunate to have other teams around you that you can work with, keep that friendship working and keep it going, because you guys are going to gain something that some of these other teams or these other people that have an arrogance about them or an ego, they're going to be sitting in the past. They're going to be sitting back there while everybody else is blowing by, because, working together, like I said, is the only way we're going to get anywhere. Yes, Robert, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, thank you so much. He goes, some of us are like psychic Mothras looking for the lighthouse. So the lighthouse was the word I was looking for earlier. But, thank you. So that's awesome. I was going to say, when you were talking about the Hinsdale house and it was kind of crazy for you, when you walk in, not the front door. Well, let's just say you're going in the front door. To your right is that little room.
Yes.
The next time you're there, place a chair just in front of that room with your back towards that room.
Okay.
And let me know if you ever get anything.
Well, we'll be up in August with they rescheduled the Madison tour in August, so we're looking forward to working with Madison. See
Yeah.
what it's all about. Looking excited about that, and excited about getting back up into the Hinsta house again. So I'll try that.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, we got some stuff from that, and I would be interested to see if anybody. I haven't heard anybody else come back with that claim, so I'm hoping that I'm kind of hoping you do. It'd be nice to see.
Definitely have
Uh, Linnell comes back and says, "It seems that way. I seem to draw an activity no matter where I go. My friends are constantly joking about. No matter where I go, I draw an energy. Some people are like that. I mean, and I think it starts with like it's just that like little light inside of us that we like to draw good things and good energies and high energies towards us. And I like to think of it as like a little fan, and it's sucking the good stuff in and pushing it back out the backside with little daisies and flowers. There you go. So it's just if you draw in good energy and you let it go through you and you make it more powerful to the people around you, you affect them, and it can be all good all the time. But just remember, there's some people you just can't touch, no matter what. They want to be miserable. Let them be miserable. Just tell them to go away.
Absolutely.
Can't help those people. You really can't. But yeah, that's my thing for Hinsdale, because I want to see. That would be really cool. I've gotten a couple things there, but that one sticks in my mind the most from that location. So that would be cool. So I want to talk about your podcast too.
I got a couple of those going. So
Oh, a couple. I only know about one, I think.
So there's Let's Talk It All.
Yep, that's the one I know about.
Okay. So we'll back this up a little bit. We'll do a little prehistory on this. We'll do the prequels, like Star
Okay.
Wars. So towards the end of the podcast history of a podcast called Let's Talk Ghosts, which was out of Awego.
You said ghosts?
It became, what's that?
You said ghosts, right?
Yeah, Let's Talk Ghosts.
G-H-O-S. Okay,
Yep.
All right.
Lonnie and I became regulars on that for about the last year that they were doing their podcast. And one of the guys that was there was he was more of the Sasquatch UFO end of things as far as the paranormal, but he also liked the political stuff and things like that. And he and I kind of hit it off. So when Let's Talk Ghosts kind of shut down and they stopped doing their stuff, he and I started up with Let's Talk It All, and we cover paranormal, Sasquatch UFOs, political stuff, social stuff, community things. We literally talk about it all at any given time.
Awesome.
And we don't get it together as regularly as we like to, but we do. We try to get it posted up on Podbean.
Linnell added in here real quick. She says, my kids went at work every time they had a break, and the customers whenever they got a break and they had a little downtime, I'd go and visit out on a whim, and they'd see me walk in and they'd yell, "No, go away, we just got a break." You always bring people behind you. Oh man, that's funny. But okay, so Podbeam, we got that one. Let's talk ghosts.
Let's talk it all. It's one Jeff and I do now. Jeff's my co-host, and
Jeff,
because we don't get together as often as I'd like, I just started doing one of my own, which I call Radio Free Anvil.
Wow, that's kind of a cool title.
Yeah, imagine how I got that one. And I just kind of rolled what's hitting me that week or that bye week or whatever it is, and I throw in paranormal and I throw in political stuff and things that I rant about and things that other people are ranting about that I don't understand, and
right.
I just like to hear myself talk sometimes, so I throw that out there as well. So you never know.
I hate listening to myself, so I don't know. I'm glad you like listening to yourself. I love to talk though. You know,
I do. I like to talk too, but usually it's about stuff I like, and that isn't always what everyone else likes to talk about. So.
Well, you know what's funny is like with Talk with Teddy. I mean, he started this because of the COVID thing, and I really didn't have I guess I did have an idea of what I wanted to do, but it never fell that way.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just somebody says, "Hey, I wanna be on your show," or I just reach out and I say, "Hey, this is kind of interesting. What do you think?" And um, it's like, do I find it interesting? There's some things that I'm just like, eh. But by the time the conversation's done, in most cases, I'm kind of like, that was actually pretty cool. You know, you get to learn, about people, and that's one thing about the paranormal we have to realize is that we're always learning. We're always you know, nobody's better than the next, and that's in life, period. But you know, that sounds interesting. Radio Free Anvil.
That's on Podbean as well.
I never been on a Podbean thing.
Also,
I have my own network with John, so it's like we run everything there. So, but still, that's cool. You didn't freeze up on me, did you?
No.
There you go. You blinked. I was like, wait a minute, is he gonna blink?
No, it's just I mean, again, just between the two podcasts are similar. Just one I do with a co-host, one I do by myself.
Now, who is Jeff? You mentioned Jeff.
Jeff is he lives locally. He's been a Sasquatch researcher and UFO or ufologist or whatever they call themselves since an early age, and he's got some really great stories and information about that end of the spectrum. And I kind of bring the ghosts and the cryptids and things like that to my, urban legends and things like that to the show. And then when we get into things like politics and the community and social issues, we kind of play off each other as far as we'll be talking, and sometimes we'll just take the opposite point of view just so that there's an opposite point of view to be said, and the debates get interesting. In reality, we probably both feel the same way, but someone took the devil advocate and had it out.
Yeah, I know what that's like. I have a co-host. I know what that's like. Yeah, maybe someday we got to get you and Jeff then on Paratalk Radio. Come over, hang out with me and Cindy someday, and have some conversations. That'd be kind of cool.
All right, I think we can probably arrange that.
That'd be kind of cool. On Monday night, we'll sit down and chat. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Yep, Cindy and everybody else is still sitting there waiting on us. You guys could ask questions. Don't wait on us to be the, interesting people. You guys could ask questions too. I love giving.
So in July 20th, we will be, Alani and I, and we're not sure if anyone else can go with us or not yet, we'll be in Rhode Island to check out the Conjuring House in Harrisville.
Oh, you're going to go do that, huh?
Yeah, we decided it's kind of a bucket list investigation.
Yeah.
We decided to put out the money and do it. And
so it's just going to be like a few of you, or
right now it's just Alani and I. We're going to spend a little more time in Rhode Island. I worked there for 4 years back in the early 2000s, or mid 2000s, 2010, 2008, 2009. I ran a Walmart at the Warwick, Rhode Island. So we have some roots back in Rhode Island. We're going to go back and do some visiting, and then we're going to kind of round out the vacation with a overnight stay at the Harrisville farm.
Yeah.
On Round Top Hill.
God, you've been around the world here, man.
All over.
Oh man, so I know that you guys were scheduled to be at the Portland, Maine Paracon. So what's going on with that? Do you know if they're still doing it or not?
They have moved that to November, I believe.
Oh wow!
And at this point, I don't know if I can get off of work.
Right.
That's the other thing too. I got to be able to get out of work, and weekends usually our time to be working at the casino. So I don't know if I can get any more time off, and what's going to go on coming out of this whole.
Yeah, I canceled too because I was supposed to be there, and I canceled. I didn't know what's going on. It was stuff in my family. I had to take care of that first. That comes first.
Absolutely.
So, but Ocean State Paragon looks like July 17th and 18th. Have they moved that on? Do you know?
They've canceled until next year.
Wow, no kidding.
That's why we picked the 20th of July to go to the Conjuring House, as we were going to do it at the end of the weekend at the Paracon.
Mm-hmm.
And that got canceled, but we're still going to do the the Conjuring House.
I think Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is still going on. I know that we're scheduled to go there. I think those dates are still good, and I think that's July 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Yeah. I can't. I'm so worried about some of these Paracons, and like you and I were talking earlier, it's like they're putting them all on top of each other, and if you're scheduled for 2 or 3 of them on the same weekend, because it kind of sucks.
Well, for us, it's not just the Paracons; it's the psychic fairs. Statler. Now they sold the Statler.
So they did?
What's that?
I didn't know they sold the Statler.
I believe Daniel posted something today or yesterday that the Statler's been sold.
Oh, no kidding.
They stopped doing ghost tours about a month ago up there.
I heard about that.
Right. The last one they did was right before they did the quarantine, and they made the announcement then that they would do no more ghost tours. And then I could have sworn I saw something. I could have read it wrong. I could have sworn Daniel posted something today or yesterday saying that the Statler's been sold, and he's not sure what they're going to do about future events that were scheduled there.
Wow.
The Statler got canceled. Casey. Casey had things going on in Jamestown for a psychic fair, and that got canceled. And now they're trying to get them all in. It's going to be a crazy 3-4 months at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think Sci-Fi Horror Fest they canceled too.
They canceled till next year on that, because I was looking forward to doing that again. I think that's the last place you and I were together.
And it was funny because you mentioned that. I'm like, wait a minute, I met him at Horror Fest? Wait a minute. What was he? Where was I? Where was he?
It's kind of in the background a lot. And we were just up there busy. We didn't have a booth or anything.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't remember his table. God, I feel like such a schmuck.
No, you're not that big a schmuck. Just, you probably talked more to Lonnie. I think Lonnie actually interviewed you.
Oh,
I think the Radio Free Anvil podcast.
I think maybe she did. Yeah,
on it.
Yeah, because she did Dustin too. Because Dustin was right next to me.
Yep, and Chris Saunders, I think.
Yep, Chris Sanders. Yeah.
Well, she had 4 or 5 interviews that she lumped together and did them all.
Yeah, because actually what's funny about that is because Dustin and I were talking, and it's like, we didn't know if either one of us were going to go back for this coming year, but I was like, well, you know what? It wasn't a bad drive. It was fun, so what the hell? We'll go back again. But Dustin didn't. He changed his mind about it, but it doesn't even matter at this point, you know, so.
We're scheduling for 2021.
Well, and you know what's funny is it's not even just, folks, it's not even just Paracons or psychic fairs. I mean, like right here, Livingston County here in New York, they've canceled all the Hemlock State Fair, all the Caledonia Fair. They've canceled all the big festivals and stuff that's going on. So, and now they're talking about when this second round is coming, and that's September, October. They're saying the second round of COVID will be coming back around unless they can get an antidote or whatever for it. But what would be sad is if we're stuck like this for fucking 2 years or 3 years.
Well, my wife and I, my friends, and we talk about it all the time. I don't know how they're going to distinguish. I mean, when you look at the numbers, how they break down.
Right.
As many people die from the regular, every day, every year, seasonal old-time flu, ultimately, as many people die from that as have died from the COVID. Maybe not as quick.
Right.
Or maybe not as ugly. But at what point do you decide, all right, this flu isn't lethal enough to not do that? We can't do this every 6 months. We can't do this every year. We can't.
Yeah, and you know what's scary about that? If this is COVID-19, is 20 going to be worse?
You know what I mean? It's going to mutate. It's going to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is what happens all the time. And I think the big question is: Do the politicians say, you know what, we probably overreacted the first time, we're not going to do it this time? Or are they going to say, well, if we don't have the same reaction, then we're going to look like really idiots. So we're just going to do this all over again to save face.
Right. Well,
And I know you got elderly parents, and they're part of the higher risk group. I'm part
right.
of the higher risk group. I've got heart issues, and I've got a pacemaker and everything else going on.
Yeah,
But
I am too because I have issues. I'm diabetic, which is a part of that.
right,
Um, and I do have a small heart murmur, so that also puts me at risk. And so it doesn't help that I'm a big boy.
here you there. That never helps. It is what it is, right?
Fuck the COVID. Give me my pizza.
Can I get that COVID with anchovies, please?
Yes, there you go. Um, but yeah, it's just I think and I think about this all the time. It's like there's so many freaking conspiracy theories. But you know what? If you actually sit down and talk to people that work in the field, like I came from the EMS field. I worked for Avon Ambulance for 6 years. I worked for East Avon Fire Department for 5 years. I was a licensed medic for that, and I talk to people that are still working in the front line, and I talk to them and I want to know their opinions versus what I hear on TV versus what I hear out of politicians because I believe these people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I want to know what shit's really happening out there. I don't want to be lied to. I don't want. I'm tired of hearing people say it's all political. It doesn't really exist. It blah 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 blah. I want to talk to the people that are on the front line, and I just so happen to know enough of them where I can say, "Hey, can you tell me what's really going on?" And 99% of them come back and said, "Yeah, dude, it's a real thing." But here's some things you don't know. Here's some things that they're not saying. You know,
Right,
and one of them was like this whole thing with wearing a mask. The mask that we're wearing is not to protect us; it's to protect the other people.
right,
It's to stop when we sneeze or cough. To catch the amount of those. We're never going to catch 100% of them, but at least we're going to, it's going to be a less percentage of that stuff leaving our face and going out into the air. And people are like, oh, I don't want to wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, it's not about protecting yourself. It's about protecting others, And that was one of the main things that caught me from some of my friends with the whole thing with COVID-19. The other thing, too, was like, you cannot believe how many people, like, they just sit in their house, they think, oh, I'm sweating. It's like, man, why am I hot? And then, oh, my stomach doesn't feel good. And it's like, people go, oh, it must be allergies. Oh, it's just, I ate too many cherries today or whatever. It's like, but if that's lasting like 3 or 4 days,
yeah,
something's wrong.
yeah. You need to get that checked out.
Something's wrong.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you this, that test is not comfortable. That's the best way to put it.
they've gotten better with it, but I know the first ones that were testing. Yeah, take this 3-foot stick and shove it in your nose as far as you can without popping a brain cell.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that was.
Yeah.
I think they've gotten a little better with it, but yeah, it's still not pleasant.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I had to take my elderly father to this, and you drive up and they say lean your head back on the headrest, and then they just shove it up in there and they twist it around. And this guy, I mean, he didn't tear up, he didn't flip out, he didn't. Soon as she was gone and said thank you, sir, we started driving. Son of a bitch, she was trying to take my fucking brain out and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, trying to lobotomize you.
But it's not a comfortable thing, but you have to do what you have to do. He's blind in one eye right now because he has a blood clot behind the eye, so he can't see. And he's got to go on the 5th. I think it's the 5th. We have to go do a test, and then the 8th he gets the COVID test again, and then the 11th he has a surgery. And that's the one thing that I'm going to have to fight with him on. Lay your head back there, Dad, so I can stick that 3-foot frickin' thing up your nose. Oh, man. Linnell says, the test sucks. Just did it Tuesday for my pre-op process. Wowzers. Yeah. So I hear they're changing it, though, that it's not going to be so bad, that it's a different process. I'm just not sure what it is. But I just know here it's a big, long, wooden Q-tip.
Yeah.
Why is it they can shove it up your nose, but you can't use it to clean your ears? God, I'm so stupid. It's fun though.
Yeah.
All right, so podcast we covered. I see. I told you I was making notes. I wrote all this stuff down. I wanted to be thorough. I even got a rubber glove. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Amendments. You're a strong advocate for the Second Amendment, but I also saw some notes there that there's some other things that you're pretty strong about. And what is? I gotta ask. What is FB Citizens Militia?
Oh, Facebook. It's on Facebook.
Facebook. Okay.
Page on Facebook.
Oh,
Citizens
okay.
Militia. It's something I just threw out there, and basically anything that deals with the Second Amendment and the First Amendment and firearms, I throw onto that page when I see it. I kind of built a bunch of pages to cover different interests that I have, rather than just clogging up my own timeline with it. So, yeah, I am a firm believer that the Second Amendment was meant for the citizens.
I believe so too.
Not the current modern day definition of militia.
Right.
I think when they said that, I think their intent was to say the militia was the citizens. Instead of saying citizens again, they said militia, so that it was clear that that's part of the reason they were keeping the firearms, is that they could be that. And and every day, it seems like every day there's more and more trampling of that, and the First Amendment's starting to get whacked too.
Well, there's a lot of things like I had mentioned earlier when we were talking about being chipped. I mean, I'm old school, and I was raised where your guns in your house weren't just for hunting; they were also for protection. They were also for like my dad was a state trooper. He's a strong advocate for politicians. If you don't do right by the people, it's our right to get in there and take you to hell out. And it's about us. You're there. You're put in place because of us, not because of all the money that some big corporation put you in there with. It's us. And my dad always said they're not taking his guns. They'll have to kill him first. That's his right to have a gun. And I think that's right with everybody else. We should have our rights, and it just seems like every time you turn around, one either gets trampled on, or it gets minimized, or it's getting taken away.
Well, and the protests in Michigan, where they went into the state house, and you know what? It's Michigan's own fault for not defining their laws better, but they had every legal right to have firearms with them when they went in there to protest. And not a shot was fired, not a person was killed, not a person was arrested. They didn't have to break out water cannons, tear gas, and rubber bullets. And it wasn't so much that they had. I don't think people get that they didn't have picket signs saying what they meant. They were showing you that this is my statement.
Right.
I have a right to be here, and the politicians were afraid.
Yeah.
First Amendment. This is, these things are constantly trampled to a certain extent, one way or the other. Well, we shouldn't say that, and we can't say this, and it's not nice to say that, so we shouldn't say that, and
Robert, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Absolutely, Robert. I agree 100%.
And he's Australian.
Nice. But and I firmly believe that once the Second Amendment, once they're able to get rid of that, the other ones are
gone. Yeah, number two is holding everything in place for the most part, and it's going to be like Jenga.
That's why it was put there.
Like Jenga, one piece at a time, and it's just going to fall. And then where are we going to be?
Yeah.
See, I hear from people all the time. It's like
our house is not being able to leave.
Yeah. Wait a minute. What? We're already there. But I've heard people say all the time. It's like there's another Civil War coming. It's coming, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be the South versus the North. It's going to be a different way. And I'm sorry. I understand that the government thinks that they're doing right by us, and I understand that some of the big corporations think they're doing the right thing, but then there's, you know what? Behind closed doors, none of us know what's really happening there.
No,
And
that's
that's the scariest part about being an American today. Because first off, we don't have the rights that we had. We're being told all the time, can't do this, can't do that. Here's one of my biggest issues. See, now we got me started.
yeah. Let's do it.
We got me started.
Oh yeah, let's do this.
Put on the coffee. One of the biggest things that pisses me off, and I did a little research on it, and I don't pull names, I don't any of that shit. But I'm a strong believer that when the one person bitched about spanking your kids and the discipline that was needed, and they took it away to where there's a certain level of where you can't smack your kids because the kids can come back and have you arrested. That's why we're in the shape we are for the future. Some of these kids walk all over us and they don't respect the elders. They don't want to work. They don't want to. They're what are they doing? They're sitting on video games. You know, they're robbing places. They're hanging out with people that just. I don't know. I'm a firm believer that discipline needs to be brought back in the house, back in the family.
Well,
You've got to be able to spank a kid, not beat a kid, not beat a kid.
I get it. No,
but spank a kid.
I agree. But that's the slippery slope. That's the double-edged sword, and that's what happens.
It wasn't in the 1850s. It wasn't in 1903.
There has been.
Come on.
There are so many contributing factors, but you're absolutely right, and you know, and believe me, I get into arguments and I get into heated debates and with other people, and you know, I get the same reason when I say video games have contributed to the lack of respect the younger generation has for other people, the lack of respect the younger generation has for firearms, because they think, and again, not all of them, and I'm not painting everyone with the same brush,
right?
But if you are indoctrinated 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours a day, 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week, that you can just blow away 20, 30 people and it's all good, or if you get killed, you can just come back and start over, player one, revisited. That it desensitizes you to the actual reality of a firearm. So when things happen, people just freak out. They just freak out and can't understand why kids would go into the high school to kill their fellow students.
Mm-hmm. Or Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Well, that's going down the conspiracy.
Slippery slope. I know. Slippery slope.
I think there was more to Las Vegas than we're told.
But I do agree with you, and there is a problem with the way certain things that we put together for our kids. Like, I don't know how old you are, James. Are you my age?
I am
50s.
55.
You're 55. I'm 54.
All right, so we're
good.
right.
All right, so our age, when we were being raised, we knew what it was like to get up and go do chores. We knew what it was like to get our ass whooped. We knew what it was like to be grounded or be told, no, you're going to bed without supper. Have a twitch taken off a tree and your ass being whooped with it. No, you can't have this. We can't afford it. You know? Now today, and I'm not putting anybody down for this because this is the way society is. We as a human race, unfortunately, we try to make our lives this, but because of society and what is out there on the TV and the radio and the videos and the video games, that's what really affects our lives, and that's what actually makes us this social animal that we are. It's turned us into like the COVID. It just manipulates us, and we change all the time. We become a different strain of it all the time. And, as a kid, we didn't have some of that stuff. We didn't have a lot of that stuff. Shit, The only time I could watch TV was in the morning before I went to school. But I was up at 4 o'clock working on the farm. Then I went to school. Then I came home, and at 4 o'clock, it was do your chores. 6:30, you had dinner, and by 8 o'clock, you were in bed. And you started that day all over again. There was no time for video games. There was no time to sass my mom back. Well, shit, she would have broke my fingers or hit me with a shoe.
Yeah.
You know, my mom was good at Tupperware swinging.
Tupperware, yeah. Tupperware, whatever it took. No, and I get what you're saying. And I think my upbringing was a little bit different just based on, my family and what my dad did and my mom did. But first of all, they were both Marines in the Second World War.
Okay.
All right. So now you got two parents that were Marines out of the Marine Corps, bringing me up. But for me, it was all about school and education, and I focused on getting grades and things like that. And chores were around the house. It wasn't. My dad worked for the telephone company. My mom was a housewife, but she did a lot of other things too. She did Tupperware. She decorated cakes. She did a lot of side business type things. But I didn't give my parents crap, and if I did, it didn't happen more than once. And I focused on the schooling and my education and working hard, and I think that's something that's, to me, and again, not painting everyone with a paintbrush, but I think things that the way we were raised, it was about working hard, accomplishing, discipline, and things like this. A lot of kids now, it's about, can I be good enough at sports to get a multi-million-dollar contract? Can I rap? What's going to be the easiest way for me to be famous or wealthy or whatever it is? And, and if I can't be that, then I'm going to be,
I'm going to sit home and mom and dad are going to take care of me until they're dead.
I'm going to be the next Kardashian. I'm going to be the next Tupac. I'm going to be the next, LeBron James.
Yeah.
No, why don't you be the next scientist that finds the cure for cancer. Cure for COVID. Make those important life choices. And they're just bombarded with that now. That the gangster lifestyle, it's just crazy, and I think
it's true that if you look at jobs in America today, I know that when I was in high school and going to college, one of the things that they sat down with us and they said, "Hey, these are the fields that are looking for people, like to become doctors, nurses, scientists, I don't know, not machinists, computer programmers." They always gave us a list of what fields we're looking for what, so that we could set a goal,
Right.
And today the kids don't even teach them cursive. You know what I mean? They don't even teach them how to write their name. Now writing their name is printing. I'm like, what the hell is that shit?
They have to use digital clocks because they can't read analog. Are you?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's a ton of things that we could talk about, but we have to think about who's teaching, though, because it's not it might be some of our generation, but it's the generation after us that's actually teaching more than we are in our generation,
right?
The 30s and 40s. But it's just funny how everything has just gone from where you had to move, you had to get off the couch, you had to work, you had to do this, now we're just all fucking fat and lazy, and everything's done for us. The remote to, I don't know, clapping on the light to, you know what I mean? We've gone from being to where we actually moved off the couch and did something to, and I'm guilty.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 6'2" and I'm 300 pounds. I'm a big boy. I'm a linebacker.
Yeah,
and
so am I.
So it's one of those things that we've actually made ourselves lazier. Um, and it starts right from the top. It starts from home, and that's where I'm saying top is. The top is home. That's where it all starts from. And that's because we don't fight for what we should be fighting for. We're not standing our ground for what we should be standing our ground for. My dad, see, I didn't always live with my dad or my parents. And so my mom is a Native American woman, and my dad is Roman Catholic, but he was also military for 22 years, and then came out and was a state trooper. He worked as military police and air police, or AP. He was the bombers for the war, so he still got shrapnel in him. But these people spent their lives having it a lot worse than we had it.
Absolutely.
A lot worse. And then we were a handful, and I'm looking at the kids today, I'm going, oh my God, I was a fucking angel. I really was. Literally.
I let my grandkids know as often as possible that they got it good, and
oh yeah,
be thankful for it.
So let's see. There's a couple things in here. I knew this was going to bring up some comments. Here in Texas, they have been pushing in schools if a kid gets spanked to tell someone at school. Let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, marine parroting. Let me tell you, a quarter definitely bounced off the bed. He he he. Thank God I didn't have to do that. Most kids I have seen lately are doing what can mommy or daddy get me without having to do shit. You know what? That's true. You see it all the time. There's that one stupid commercial where they show the kid playing his video game and drinking a soda, and he calls his grandmother, "Can you bring me in another soda?" Calls her on the goddamn phone instead of going to the refrigerator. You know what I mean? Laziness. I was told 3 fields were guaranteed job stability. Well, do you know how many kids that graduate today? They go into college. They're there for 4 to 6 years. They come out and they can't get a job. That's a fact. That is a fact. Hospital, law enforcement, funeral director. All 3 will be needed forever. Absolutely true. Always will be. And for some of those whack jobs out there, I guess cannibalism always will be too. I know, bad joke. I'm sorry. Bad joke. Plus, Wolf, they want the kids to hurry up and write things down, so most kids' handwriting is chicken scratch. I don't know about you, but I can't read some people's handwriting anymore.
I can't read my wife's, so it's not just kids. Adults are the same way.
Honey, but, just put a big X there. Now I understand. Just put a big X there. Yeah. It's one of those topics, man, that we could probably sit here all night long and talk about the things that are wrong in just our own little towns that we see. But unfortunately, a lot of this comes down to what is told to us on the TV. And by God, I'm so sick of the TV because every news channel is telling you a mile list of bullshit every single day.
Oh, yeah.
And then people go, well, I saw it on TV, and that's what my dad is like that. Every word that comes off that TV. I'm like, where did you hear that from? The TV, so it's got to be true. I'm like, no, it's not. Trust me, Dad.
Yeah, that changed too. The people that we kind of relied on for our information and for accurate information ain't there now.
Nope. It certainly isn't.
It's about getting the news story out fast and quick, and if the facts are wrong, maybe we'll change it later on down the road, maybe not.
Yeah, who cares if it's true or not? Just put it out there. It's news.
Yep. And that doesn't help either.
No. There is a lot that we have to deal with every single day here in America, and we're still supposed to be the land of the free. We're still supposed to be the strongest country in the world. I think when the chips are down, there are a lot of us that do come together. I think there's a lot of us that will fight for what needs to be fought for, but I still worry about the younger generations coming up after us. And I have seen, and this is just my family. I don't know if it's bad genes, but I'm looking at IQs, and I'm the smartest one in the family, so that tells you something. It's a joke, folks. It's a joke. But I do see that the younger generations, they can't. I have a niece that has two kids. They are 2 years apart. One is 9, the other one is 7. The 9-year-old can't read or write very well at all, and she has a hard time deciphering anything. The 7-year-old boy can outdo his sister any day of the week with the alphabet, any day of the week with writing and telling stories and reading and so on and so forth. And the only reason that is because he has autism. He's a high-functioning autistic kid, and he fights to be the best that he can every day by learning and reciting and putting the work in. And that tells me that we're getting lazy.
Yeah.
If a kid that has autism is fighting just to make proper conversation with his parents, to learn just to fit in so that he doesn't have to be taken care of by his family for the rest of his life, so that he can be somebody by working all that extra hard, to be this, and then the sister doesn't work as hard or just doesn't care. And the attitudes these girls have today, oh my God, smack, boom, 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 on the butt. It just, yeah, I get it. And I feel for us, because in 30 years, buddy, we're going to be in our 80s, and guess who's going to be taking care of us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Guess who's going to be running the country?
Yeah.
Are you keeping a loaded gun by the bed? I am.
Every room of the house. Every room in the house and 2 in the car when I go out. So,
there you go. There you go.
All right.
I think it's amazing that where we've ended up, and I feel sorry for everybody, to be honest with you. And do you remember, like, was it 15, 20 years ago that they came out with the polls that China and Japan were ahead of us? I think it was China was ahead of us, as in IQs and education and all that stuff. That America was one of the lowest.
Yeah, I think we're still not real high on the Rhine. I know Japan has almost always been since.
Well, those guys bust their asses to learn over there.
They do, and it's a different culture. It's a different mindset.
Can we just ship our kids over there to learn and then bring them back?
I think they would corrupt the Japanese culture. That might not be a good idea.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Who knows? By the year, I don't know, 2080, it'll probably be Japan and China running the world, and the rest of us will be, well, I'll be dead. But
yeah, that's the upside.
Hey, you know what we got to look forward to?
What's that?
Haunting the shit out of these kids.
Oh, that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
How many kids are you going to go by and slap in the back of the head?
Oh, yeah. Throw things around. Yeah.
What does this say here? Let me see. Oh, my God. Okay, so we'll go back here. So it says that they don't even push the kids to excel in school anymore. That's absolutely correct. They do not. So are you suggesting that someone should chlorinate the G pool?
Well, I'm about chlorinate, but at least you use some algicide.
Something. The 7-year-old will be better than them all. Guaranteed. That kid is smart as a fucking whip. I'm telling you. He surprises me every single day. Every single day. I made sure all 5 of my kiddos were able to spell their names, recite their address and home phone number, along with their mom and dad's real names, in addition to count to 100 in English and count to 20 in Spanish before their first day of kindergarten. It's called Take the Time to Teach Your Kids. You know what? Kudos to you, Linnell. My niece did the same thing with her 2 kids. In fact, Wyatt was learning the alphabet, and that kid could sit down and tell you what, I don't know how many shapes there are in the world. He could name every single shape. He could count by 2s, 4s, 5s, 10s. This kid is just amazing. And he's out reading his sister. But that's part of the autism. But still, when I need somebody to fix something that I can't figure out in 20 years, guess who I'm calling? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to be the one that's going to be able to fix it. Because I hate math, first off. And if I ever make any real money, I'd probably blow it all on stupid shit. So I'd need somebody to watch my money for me. But you know what? I think, James, in the long run, if things don't change, I think we're kind of screwed, to be honest with you. And it's not just our kids. It's not the generations coming after us. It's what we're dealing with now between the rights being taken away, the things that are happening behind closed doors in the White House, in the Senate. There's just so many things that we don't have control over and that we don't see. And it sucks.
It does. I agree 100%. And you're right. And there's just so much going on now that, and everything now is, I don't want to say it's, we've gotten into the mindset of instant gratification, things like that. And I don't want to get into a whole nother can of worms, but, just the recent events of the last few days in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I get it. The video is damning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But it's just a snapshot of what happened. There's got to be more to the story.
Right.
I'm not saying that the cop was in the right. But what else? What led to that?
What are we missing?
Defense?
Yeah.
And could that chain have been broken anytime sooner than the death of George Floyd?
Yeah. Well, and it's, besides that, I mean, just yesterday here, and I don't know if you've caught it, I'm sure you caught it on the news, we had a young man in a tractor trailer. Luckily, nobody died except for him.
Right.
But you never, ever heard of that shit. Ever. No. And now it's happening. There are people killing their own... They're in the same household. They're killing their own wives, their own husbands, their own kids. Because this COVID thing. Nobody expected any of us to be stuck in the same whole house for 2 months straight, or 3 months straight, or, God forbid, two years straight. Are we going to end up eating each other, killing each other, burying each other out back? We don't know, because it wasn't supposed to be that way. But bottom line is we have to find a way to get along while we're doing this, because we don't need this other shit like that's happening right now. I mean, I just recently heard about stores in New York City that are being vandalized. As soon as people go to bed, as soon as people aren't on the street, they're going out and they're breaking into these places and they're stealing stuff. And it's not even on TV yet. These are from friends of mine that live in New York City. They contacted me.
There's so much that isn't being shown.
Yeah.
To keep it focused on the few things that are just driving the internet and Facebook.
Let's pretend that nothing bad is happening. Let's pretend so the major public does not get wind of it, because we don't want mass hysteria. So let's pretend. Let's falsify the information and send it out there, just for the time being. That's some scary shit. Because what else are they falsifying? What else are they holding from us that... I mean, come on, we know that aliens exist, and they've been freaking following aliens for the past how many years?
Well,
because they finally admitted it.
Knowledge, no one even cares.
Yeah. They don't. People are saying, what the hell? Why are we believing you now? Why? Go ahead. We don't care. Oh, you didn't want to tell us because you're afraid we were going to flip out. We've been dealing with your lies for the past 65, 70 years about UFOs.
Absolutely.
So now you're going to admit it. Do you really think we give a shit what you have to say?
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to. I think it's funny that they could talk about UFOs, but if Bigfoot exists, the government has to have something on it. When does that come out?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right? I mean, think about it. Do we believe in our country that anything supernatural that's ever claimed or seen that the government doesn't know about it?
Oh no,
They know.
you know,
And some of these, they could be fucking, sorry to say this, but some of these weird cryptids that people are claiming to see, they could be something the government has created and it escaped.
that is definitely one possibility.
I'm just putting out there what I've heard. These are theories, conspiracy theories. These are, when you're in the paranormal field, James, and I know that you're going to understand this, you hear everything. There's
do.
always something.
You absolutely do.
Cora says here, they want to distract us from what is really happening. They've been doing that for 100 years. Easy. Just had a couple shot and killed by another neighbor who shot himself this week out of conflict and aggression from them being cooped up. That's a common thing that I've heard already. Normal, everyday little annoyances are now blown so far out of proportion because some people are just so stressed and have no help to deal with it. And it's true. And this is why I tell people, it's like, if you're having a bad day, give me a call. You want to chat? We'll chat.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge you for what's going on through your mind. I'm not that type of person. I don't judge anybody. I think everybody is the same. I'm not gonna judge you. That's not my job. That is somebody else's job. Whatever power you believe in, that's their job, not mine. My job is to help you live. It's to help you become a part of this society to where you can help us all succeed and move forward. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what bedroom or who's in the bedroom with you. I don't care what you do. If you are an active part of our society and doing what I'm doing or doing what James is doing or what anybody else is doing, then you have the right to do what you want to do, and I'm not going to judge you. But if you're not doing that, I am going to judge you, because you can't just sit there and claim and be and all this shit and then not be active and not. There's so many times that you hear people judge somebody else because they're afraid of their own insecurities or their own issues. And if they stopped and thought about that, they wouldn't be judging somebody else because they would realize it's their own issue, their own problem. Cora says, I don't know about Japan kids, but China kids go to school year-round. Yes, they do.
I think Japan does as well.
Yeah, I think so. Me and my boys are having trouble with 2 kids. You know what? It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. I'm surprised in our own neighborhood here, which normally it's set as a very old style town, very old, old timers run it. There's not a lot of new things in town. I think the newest thing we have is McDonald's or what is it? No. It's Salvatore's is the newest thing that we have in our town. And because they like to keep it old fashioned, they like to keep it a small family thing. It's a nice community. That's what they want. But you know how many times we have kids overdosing on freaking crack or heroin? It's happening, folks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's happening because they don't want to sit in that house anymore, and because it's easier for them to lock themselves in their room and smoke all those drugs so that they don't have to deal with their parents. It's happening. I know it's happening. EMS.
Huge issue down here in the Southern Tier.
Yeah. It's just so crazy that we have to sit here and talk about this stuff because 100 years ago, we weren't talking about this stuff. We were worrying about other things. Things that mattered. Some people are going to get mad at me for that too because, this doesn't matter. Well, who knows? I'm opinionated just like the next person.
Absolutely.
And we all can have our opinions. That's the American way. We have our rights. We can say and do what we please as long as it doesn't affect and hurt somebody else. That's my belief. So, let's see. A lot of kids are doing that. These 2 kids are only 8 years old and 9 years old. Oof. Our town is so close-knit that murder-suicide incidents was the first event of this type in over 25 years. Where I live, there's more cows than people, so trust me, when there's kids overdosing, there's something wrong.
Well, and this is unique. See, I say this is a unique opportunity. Families are, because I get kids that are neglected by their parents, not neglected and they're not being fed or clothed or housed, but
Emotionally.
time isn't spent with them because dad's at work, mom's at work. And I get there's essential workers and not everyone is in lockdown. But these homes where they are in lockdown, and again, I use the word lockdown, and I think that's for the state of New York, I think
It's a cruel word for the state or New York.
what's going on. I know, if you haven't been forbidden to go to the store to get what you need on any given day, you haven't been forbidden to step outside and be in your yard if it's a nice day out, or as long as you're taking precautions, they're not arresting people on the street for being on the street and dragging them off. But opportunity for parents to get their kids involved in something they find interesting, get involved in their kids' lives and what their kids find interesting. If your kid's playing video games, and then maybe devote
their time in half
to learn how to play the video game with your kid. But and likewise, then the kid should be spending time with you, learning how to do woodworking or
go fishing,
the spark plugs in the car. Or I know one of the dealers I work with, her husband and her, they're doing the homeschooling, and he does basically shop class with the kids. They've built Adirondack chairs.
Amazing.
The 8 or 9 year old girl made a yard Yahtzee. So she made 8 dice, big huge dice, and it goes in a bucket, and it's got a wipe on, wipe off kind of sheet to keep track. And you play Yahtzee out in the yard with this yard dice. And she made the dice by hand. She made it because her dad showed her how to work and the tools. And there's opportunities here that I get it. Not every parent's equipped to do that. But how about just spending time with your kid?
Yeah, well,
not just look in the room to go play games while you watch soap operas or whatever it is.
Yeah. Let's just stay in bed. This is some of the issues that I have as parents sleeping all goddamn day while their kids are out in the living room or, outside playing by themselves. And it's not just, it's every parent that's in this quote unquote lockdown or staying home. And it's like, yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. When we were kids, our parents showed us how to bait a hook. It sounds country to you, but it's true. Oh. We were taught how to bait a hook. We were taught how to fish. We were taught how to plant flowers. I plant with my mom out here. We just did it 2 days ago, and I'm going to be doing it again in the next couple of days.
Yep.
We were taught how to raise our own food. Okay? There's something to say about that. If you take, let your kid play, give them 3 hours during the afternoon and an hour and a half to get to play their game, but an hour and a half they have to go outside with you and they have to work in the yard. They have to learn how to rake. They have to learn how to mow. They have to learn how to prune blackberry bushes. They have to learn how to make things. I agree with you 100%.
There's an opportunity being missed, and again, that's no one to blame but the parents on that one.
And the thing is some of that stuff is so useful when you become an adult yourself. I mean, what happens if you remember that movie Mad Max?
Yeah.
What happens if we end up like that? People, that generation is going to have to learn how to fend for themselves. They're going to have to learn how to grow things. They're going to have to learn how to protect each other. Instead of, beating somebody up for their differences, learn about their differences. Become a friend.
Yeah.
Maybe they just didn't have the upbringing to know that they were different. Because some people, how they coddle kids.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's not that way. My family has just realized that with my sister and my brothers, after so many years, anxiety from the generations from our generation down, anxiety and depression has come up so far. It keeps getting higher and higher with generation to generation and generation. So we couldn't figure out why my sister was flipping out. We couldn't figure out why my brother was having issues. So in reality is that anxiety because of way society is, and we're supposed to move so fast, we're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do that. No, yes, no, put that back, don't do this. The anxiety got so high that they actually had to go on medication. I've been on medication for anxiety for, I don't know, 17 years. Because I just couldn't deal with all the pressure and the stress that I was put under. And it's the same with them. And it really is one of those, and it's not just my family. I mean, there are families all over the world with these problems that they don't understand why they're short-tempered. They don't understand, excuse me, why they have this whole thing. They can't sleep at night. It feels like their heart's pounding out of their chest, and it's anxiety. There's issues. Damn. But yeah, there's so many things out there that we don't know. We're still learning. And this world, I'm so afraid, is not going to be here in 30 years.
Well, yeah.
You know.
And I was watching. It was funny. I was looking for things to kind of run in the background while I did other work, just kind of distract me.
Yeah.
I pulled up Demolition Man. Have you ever seen Demolition Man?
Oh my God, I love that movie. I love that movie.
It's been years since I watched it, but as I watched, I actually stopped what I was doing to watch it because I looked at it and said, "Oh my God, this is the road we're headed down. Everything's illegal, and everything is outlawed, and freedom and choices are all taken away."
I like the swear button thing where you get a ticket for swearing.
Yeah. I still haven't figured out the 3 shells, but whatever. And
I still haven't figured that out either. I want to know about the 3 shells.
Actually, I got to Google it because I think someone actually came up with a theory about that. But whatever. And I got thinking, oh my God, this movie is so relevant to what's going on and where we're headed down the road, possibly. And it's just scary.
It is scary. We don't know what's going to happen in 20, 30 years. I mean, people that are, our presidents, our politicians, and God, I hope some of them are dead in the next 10 years just because they're so damn old and their way of thinking is old. But, it's the dinosaur. It's time for some dinosaurs to disappear and let the new people in. But, I'm
not even sure people are a good choice, though.
What's that?
I'm not even sure some of the new people are a good choice.
I kind of agree with you there.
AOC and some of these other ones that are coming in that I don't the polar opposite of the older generation is not any better.
Yeah, it is scary. It is scary. Yeah, I don't. It's kind of like voting. I mean, we got our school. We had to vote for the school stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know who these people are. I never heard of them.
That's funny you say that. We just in the mail today. We just got absentee ballots to vote by mail for the school board, local school board.
Yeah, that's what mine was. I'm like, I don't even know who the hell they are. I'm like, how can I vote if I don't know who the hell they are? Robert says, okay, so let's go back out here. Don't want to miss all these. Go outside in the yard, learn the different kinds of birds, trees, plants, cook with them. Yeah, you could cook your birds. Do art and crafts. Just spend quality time. That's what they need, a simple read a book together and so on and so forth. What's really simple is board games. We used to have game night. We used to play board games. We used to teach your kids how to play euchre. Play Yahtzee, like you were saying. Yeah. Play games. A lot of that stuff will teach them some of the things without even realizing they're learning. I mean, how to write, how to recognize certain things. It's who plays pool anymore? You can't even get a good pool table to put in your house without it costing you freaking an arm and a leg. You can't do that anymore either.
No.
Dartboards, I mean, all that stuff. I mean, there was just so much that when we were kids we were able to do. God, I remember playing jacks. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep. Jacks. Yep.
I haven't touched a. I don't even know if you can buy them anymore.
Uh, I think the dollar stores still have a set or two. They still
Dollar store
dollar
might.
stores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love it. Linnell says that was a great movie. Yes, it was. We were trying to teach them how to do housework, and they refused to listen. That's the problem. The problem is housework. Don't show them how to do housework. You need to show them other things outside to teach them, especially like putting things away or how to rake leaves. Because if you think about it, turn it around so that when they're in the house, they actually will understand. Oh, vacuuming? Raking the leaves? Come on, there are some things you have to be smarter than the kids here. You have to think about this stuff. I'm not saying that is the good way of looking at it there, the leaves and vacuum, but there's always one way around it. Robert says 2 shells to grab and extract, 1 shell to wipe. I'm telling you, Robert White, if that is correct, we all would have bloody buttholes. Sorry if that affects anybody or offends anybody.
Grab and
But
extract. Jeez.
mm-mm.
That sounds brutal.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I think
all right.
I had the right thing. Just swear a lot and use the paper from the tickets.
There you go. I would rather do that.
Yeah.
What is that? Robert says, well, it is in the name Kookaburra. I'm not sure what that is. Our coat closet is full of board games. I learned how to play craps. My father, being in the service for 22 years, he taught me how to play euchre. He taught me how to do all these games because that's what they did on their downtime. You know? Sit down and have a family night with a movie, a good old-fashioned movie. You know? Teach them how to make their own pizza. Shit, and if you have to do it the old-fashioned way because you don't have the money, let me share something with you folks. You get like 4 pieces of bread, you put some ketchup on it, and you get some of that cheese, and you slice that cheese and you put the cheese on it with a little bit of garlic, and you throw it in the oven. That's what I eat. You know? I mean, I came from a family that was, when my dad was gone with the service, like I had said in the beginning of this, my mom was Native American. She was Seneca Indian, and we were raised a certain way. And you had to fend for yourself. You had to learn to eat what you had to eat. And there was times, and I'm not asking for sympathy, but there was times that all we ate was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, macaroni and cheese and hot dogs, and by God, we even ate cat food at one time, just to survive. So you eat what you have to eat. But luckily enough, I came from a family that we learned how to grow our own vegetables and to use herbs that are out there. You know, we learned a lot of things about the land. And there's nothing wrong with teaching your kids how to do that. Teach them how to track. Teach them different, prints that animals make. Show them how to plant an apple tree, and how to take care of it so that it gives you apples. There's just so many things that we could be doing with our young that we just don't do anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it. Okay, 3 shells. Hot water side, cold water side, and a bidet. Do not cook the birds. I meant teach the kiddos to cook in the kitchen with you. I know, I was picking on you, Linnell. I'm sorry. Oh my God. But you know what? We've been sitting here chatting. Well, I was doing a lot of talking, and I apologize, but
No, you're good.
I had a great time with you here tonight, man.
I enjoyed it.
It's we covered a lot about you.
Well, I appreciate that. That's
I'm kind of wondering what you got back there on the shelf, though. It looks like
I got all kinds of.
Is that a Shrek? What is that? There's a little figure back there, unless
Oh,
I'm
I've got,
blind.
let's see. I've got who's back there? I've got Batman. I got Superman. I got Wonder Woman, Aquaman.
Ah,
I got Darth Vader.
love that shit.
I got some crystal skulls back there.
You want to see something I just bought? Here, let
What's
me
that?
show you what I just bought. I'm going to show you what I bought. We're talking toys, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Got to have some cool shit, right?
Oh, absolutely.
$19.54. Okay.
Nice.
Godzilla.
Nice.
Isn't that sweet?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you want to talk about history. You want to talk about learning. 1954 Godzilla. This was the Godzilla with a guy in the outfit that was bouncing around, punching and doing all that shit. It was fun. It was a good, fun, healthy show to watch. Well, in my world it was, you know. And then I went and got myself a Bigfoot.
Nice.
So, I got them pretty cheap, and I'm like, you know what? I want some cool shit too. So I went and did that, and then my buddy Kenny Biddle, it's a EMF detector.
Is it the shape of a ghost?
Yeah.
Funny.
You taking here? I'll show you how it works. I was playing with it the other night while I was doing one of the live shows. I was putting it on the bed behind me, and because we're in my room, and I just have a green screen up. Until I get my studio back. Oh, there we go. That's the way it goes. Come on. See the little lights?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
So, my green screen.
I was gonna say,
Sorry. But yeah, it's a nice little ghost. A little blue light comes on, but it's sensitive with EMF, and if I put it too close to certain things, it goes off. But it's so cool, you
That's
know.
funny.
Ooh, didn't like something there for a second. All right, I'm gonna unplug it. But you know, it's cool to have little toys. I mean, will I ever use it? Probably not. I mean, other than here, I just thought it was neat and I wanted it. So Kenny sent me one. But you know, I'm a big kid still. I may be 54 years old, but I'm a big kid. I even went and got
Who's that? Oh, nice.
Abominable Snowman.
Yeah. Nice.
You know, from Pennsylvania. What is that? That thing. So yeah, that, and I even got the little zombie.
Nice.
I'm like, what the hell? But I'm really into the DC and the Marvel movies too, though. You know, I love them all.
Yep, absolutely. I got the comics. I love the comics. I've been collecting comics for years.
Oh, you're a comic collector?
Well, I was. I've kind of gotten away from it, and I've lost. I know in 2011 when we had the flood, I had a complete set of Star Wars comics from when they first published them in '77, and all 130 issues when Marvel did an adaptation of the movies, and then started writing their own stories.
Yeah.
And lost every single one of them.
Oh, no shit.
It was just a big block of pulp sludge. So I kind of ripped the heart out of me on that one. Kind of got away from the comics, but
yeah.
I like the figures. I like the movies. Star Trek, Star Wars. Big Star.
I love Star Trek. I love Star Trek.
Huge influence.
Yeah, me too. Godzilla was a big influence for me. You know, what's funny is going back to some of those things. I I love the new Wonder Woman, but nothing beats Linda Carter. Linda Carter was
absolutely.
But I do love the new Wonder Woman. I do like what they did with it. And Aquaman, even though everybody says that Jason Momoa is an asshole, I thought he did a good job. I liked the movie.
I liked him as Aquaman. He did better than I thought he was going to do. Again, because I'm used to the old school comics.
Yep.
Took me at least a movie to get used to Samuel L. Jackson as,
Yeah.
Nick Fury.
Yeah. Yeah. But that guy has got
far,
talent.
They went as far to the other side of what Nick Fury could look like as they could with Samuel L.
Yeah.
And I'll probably get hate mail about this, but I think Ben Affleck was probably one of the best Batmen in recent times. I still like Adam West.
Yeah.
I thought Michael Keaton did a good job. Clooney was
agreed.
tough. Clooney was tough with the nipples, and Christian Bale was kind of okay. But I thought Ben Affleck. I thought he was a horrible choice when they first announced it.
Yeah.
I think he did a great job as the older Batman.
Yeah, I get criticism and hate mail too for that because I agree with you 100% on everything you just said. And one of the other things that I get criticism for is, and I don't know why, because I think he did a fantastic job. I love Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he fit the part. He did a real good job.
Yep.
I just loved his whole persona. I mean, his laugh and oh my God. It was one of my favorite movies. Now, the guy that's going to be playing Batman, that was the vampire in those stupid movies there.
Twilight movies?
Yeah. I don't know about that one.
There is again, and I get to look at my stepson brought this to my attention. I guess there's a lot of crap going on about that because they're bringing in him to do the Batman thing again, but there is a rumor that Affleck is in negotiations, and I don't know if it's with this new HBO Max or who it is, but to do its own separate storyline with him as Batman character. I think that would be phenomenal if they did it.
Yeah.
But young Batman doing stuff,
yeah.
I'll have to see it. I'll have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, yeah. I love the new Superman. I think he does a great job as Superman.
The last couple new ones have been pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I really like those. Yep.
So that's
and have you seen Patrick Stewart's
Picard?
Yeah, have you seen it?
I did. I watched the series.
I haven't watched it yet, so don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet. But did you like it?
About that. Did you watch all of The Next Generation?
Yes, all of it. A couple times.
I think you'll like it.
Good.
Hard. But I think it's going to point out probably what his big character flaw was during the series.
Okay. All right. I've been putting it off.
Let's talk about it. How about did you watch the Discovery?
No.
Enterprise Discovery one?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did see that. Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was okay. I love I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am torn in certain parts of Star Trek. I was never a fan of William Shatner. I never was.
Okay.
The new one with Picard, I love The New Generation.
Okay.
That is my favorite. But the last 3 movies that came out with
the different timeline.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got so much shit for saying this the last time. I extremely love it.
Absolutely.
Extremely love it. Extremely love it.
I thought they were clever. I thought they were interesting.
Yeah.
Chris Pine did a great job. All of them did a great job.
But you know how many people disagree with that?
Well, because
I'm where you are with this. I think the way they put it together, I think it was phenomenal. I think it fit. I think it was put together nicely, flawlessly. Um, sure, there was a few things that I guess I would have changed, but not drastically. You know, but the guy that played Scotty, oh my God, love him.
Simon Pegg.
Yes,
He's
hysterical. Loved him.
Yeah, no, I thought because you know what I have fun doing with the movies. I like and I watch them all the time. To go through and pick out the Easter eggs and the references to the original series and things that they do, like. And again, it's funny because I know my wife and I went to the movie theaters to watch this, right? And I'm the only one laughing at this shit. Let's see, it was
I'm getting shit in the chat room.
so he's in the academy. He's going to take Kobayashi Maru for the third time.
Yep.
And he's sitting in the chair and he's eating an apple. Did you catch the reference?
Wait a minute, I have to remember.
Him eating the apple during the Kobayashi Maru. So if you go to the Wrath of Khan.
Yep.
And they're inside the planet.
Yep.
And Kirk's talking about how he defeated the Kobayashi Maru.
Oh God, it's been so long since I've seen.
He's eating an apple. He talks about how he beat the Kobayashi Maru.
Okay.
Eating the apple, talking about how he reprogrammed the computer.
Yeah.
And then in the new movie, they got Chris Pine sitting in the chair, being smug, eating an apple.
Yeah.
Just those kind of things. And I'm laughing, and I realize I'm the only one laughing in the fucking theater. You know?
Look at this. Oh my God! You don't like Shatner?
I will. Let's see. I'm gonna say you and I can probably disagree. I like the Kirk character that he portrayed.
Okay.
I think that was, for 1960, 62, 63, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was appropriate. Do you
agree.
not like Shatner at all, or you just didn't like the character you did in the?
No, there was certain parts of it I thought were just too and it could be because I don't know, maybe I had too many expectations. When I sit down once in a while and I watch some of the old episodes, and there are just some of them I look at and I go, why the fuck? Which one was it? The Fribbles. Tribbles.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm still like, they could have done so much more with that. They could have made it a bigger part of that whole thing. Why didn't they? You know? It could have been a whole, like, I don't know. I could have stood and watched more about those and on other episodes to where it was, I don't know, Spock had a couple of them as pets. He mind melded with them. He did, you know what I mean? It could have been, they could have done something more with it. You know what I missed? I missed Space 1999. Maya, I think is who it was.
Uh-huh.
The one that could change into all the different animals. Do you remember that? Was it Space 1999 or was it something else? Wait a minute. I don't remember now. God, I'm showing my age. But there were certain things like that. I love the Klingons. I absolutely loved. Huh?
I'm a huge Klingon fan.
Awesome. I love the Klingons. Yeah, that's cool shit. I thought they were great, but I would have liked to seen some. I didn't understand some of the characters. With the makeup, they're aliens. They take certain things on board. They train them through, and I get all that. But there was just, I didn't like the way Shatner talks sometimes. I guess I'm nitpicking, and I shouldn't. I should just let it go. but that was a generation of Star Trek that my dad loved, and it was like I was forced to watch it. That's the way I feel in some cases, whether I wanted to watch it or not. I was more into monsters. Um,
Right.
Robert White is applauding your tattoo.
Well, then he'll love this one.
Uh-oh. Yeah, gonna have to stand up.
Sharon Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Your universe.
No shit.
Earth with a sword through it.
I use Shatner as a swear word. I laughed my ass off when the first conquest from Kirk was the green chick. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who was, oh, what the hell was her name? I thought for sure they were going to fall in love, and they never did. Uhura?
Uhura? Yeah.
There was just something about those two. I just thought that Kirk and her were going to have something.
Well, and I think that was the general thought, especially, as it got into the third season and they go ahead and do that kiss. And it was the first, interracial kiss on television, blah, blah, blah. But, and again, that's one of the things that I found was funny is that when they did the split timeline,
yeah,
now Uhura was with Spock.
Yeah. And it's different. I mean, they don't even look, But that Linnell's actually put that up there. The whole Spock and Uhura romance was amazing. I like the scene where Kurt, in the newer one, where Kurt was dying from the radiation, and him and Spock, he was laying against the...
Yeah, they reversed the whole thing from the original movie.
Yeah, the whole thing was reversed. And I thought that was amazing that it was Kurt inside.
Yeah,
I thought it was fantastic, and I actually believe that that's the way it should have been originally. I thought it was amazing. And the emotions that this new series puts you through, there was some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that played Spock, I think also played... No, he played Kirk's nemesis. Shit. He played Doctor Strange.
Oh, Benedict Cumberland.
Yeah. I thought that was a great casting for that.
Good choice, and I know that caught a lot of flack because it no way. But if you were to go, and again, if you were deep into Trek, it was a 6-part comic series that explained the whole thing about why he looked the way he looked after the time shift.
Yeah. Cucumber patch, says Robert.
Cucumber patch. Yeah, that's about how you say it. Yeah, he was Doctor Strange. He was also Sherlock Holmes on one of the BC series.
I loved him in Doctor Strange. I thought that was a perfect role for him, to be honest.
Yeah,
I did like him in that.
That's a tough character to play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's so much different than the rest of the Marvel universe.
And I heard they weren't making any more new Star Trek movies.
It's come to a screeching halt. I mean, they lost the one actor that played Chekhov.
Yep.
And I think there's been some controversy over the next movie and what it was going to be like, so they've kind of dialed it back. But I'll tell you this. I'll point this little tidbit out there for you. There is a website called StarTrekContinues.com.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I gotta write that down. I haven't seen it.
Okay. So it's called StarTrekContinues.com, and this group of actors and producers and movie makers and TV makers put together another 13 episodes that kind of cover between when the series ended from the original series up to the first Star Trek movie with V'ger and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it's all recasted. You know, it's a different character. The characters are the same, but it's different actors. But I think this was so well done.
Really, I'm gonna
Um,
watch it.
it kind of sticks to the outline that Gene Roddenberry did about trying to bring attention to political issues and social issues and how they're addressed in the 23rd, 24th century. Um, there's some of the classic, you know, characters, how they play off each other. Um, but if you just get past the point that they don't look like William Shatner, they don't look like Leonard Nimoy, and just roll with the character, these are really exceptionally well done hour episodes.
Cool.
That I don't know why I haven't gotten more
attention, maybe.
Oh yeah.
If he can sedate a thunder god with a self-refilling beer stein, he can't be that bad. Oh my God. I could sit and talk about this stuff all night long. And the other thing was Battlestar Galactica. I was a huge
the new
original.
The original was so far. It had the baseline to being the same.
Hated it.
It was more adult, more dark. The original was great. Loved the original, and that was
I hate what they did to the Cylons.
Star Wars and all this new technology and making movies and space adventures, and yeah, that was a great movie.
I hate what they did to the Cylons. The Cylons were one of my favorites of all times. Battlestar Galactica. I hate the fact that they didn't have them the same way anymore. They turned them into human-looking creatures. I hated that. Didn't like it whatsoever. In fact, it turned me off. I stopped watching it.
Yeah,
because of that.
And again, you, I think people that went into it having been aware of the original series, I think it was too heavy and way too cerebral to be the fun that the original show was. I watched it, but I lost interest about 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah. The first Battlestar was definitely the better. And you know what? I was raised on Bonanza, so Lauren Green was just one of my favorites anyways. So, when he was in Battlestar Galactica, I loved it. And, I had my favorites out of that. And before we go here, what did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy series?
I loved the first movie. I think that was well done. I thought it was good. The second one, I don't think it was horrible, but I could take it or leave it.
Do you want to know what my favorite part was in the second one, and then I could leave it after that? Was the beginning. Groot, in the beginning, dancing while everybody else is fighting. That was my favorite scene of the whole thing. The only other part that I liked is when they were locked up, and he had to go and figure out what they were talking about, and he had to go and grab different things to come back to the cell. And Groot, to me, made that whole thing. I love those type of characters. I'm into those type of characters. You know what? Linnell's saying she loves Stargate. I like Stargate too, but I lost interest in that as well. I
watched Stargate when they replaced Jack O'Neill with the new guy.
Yep.
I watched it, but it wasn't as.
Yep. And Tilk was one of my favorites.
And they gave Tilk hair. I
wasn't happy with that either.
About Tilk having hair, but okay, I guess we'll let it go.
One of my favorite movies from that was, but actually I haven't even bought the movie and I need to buy it because I keep forgetting about it. It was one human and one reptile. They landed on the island together, or on the planet together.
Oh, Enemy Mine.
Enemy of Mine. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That was a great movie. Great movie. All right, guys. God, I can't believe we've been here 2 hours and 34 minutes.
Nice.
We should have started out with this shit. The next time. Next time I have, and I bring, because like Robert White, there's a couple other ones that are sitting in here that we actually get together once in a while. We do a live feed, and this is what we talk about all night long. So the next time we have one, I'll get a hold of you.
Love science fiction. Bring me in on that. That'd be great.
Yeah. The next time I'll bring you in on it. Linnell, I know Quantum Leap was great too. I had it. Scott Bakula, I had a thing for him. I loved his movies. I don't know why. It was kind of like what the hell's his name with Waterworld there?
Kevin Costner.
I mean, he was okay. I think he did better in the westerns than he did in some of the other stuff, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so much for a 60-minute show, Robert. Shut up, you bastard. I know. We were having fun. That's what counts.
That's right.
We were talking. So now we have somebody else that can get in with science fiction shit and talk to us there, Robert White. All right, so he's a big, like myself, Robert is over in Australia, and him and I love Doctor Who. So,
I've seen some of it, but I'm not as up on my Doctor Who as I probably should be.
Yeah, well, we love talking about Doctor Who and the rest of it, so we're good. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us for 2 hours and 36 minutes.
Appreciate it.
Just talking and reminiscing and talking about some things that are dear to both of us. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. It was definitely one of my favorite episodes, I think, just because we got to talk about so much stuff and get things off our chest and really just reminisce about some of the things we loved. And it really was awesome tonight. Guys, don't forget that Saturday night I have another singer straight out of Nashville. He's trying to make it in Nashville, and he's actually worked with some impressive individuals and has some album. I think he's got at least one album out. So Saturday night, 11 o'clock right here, and Talk to Teddy. Yes, good night, Linnell. Make sure that you come back and join me here. And James, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it again, buddy. You take care.
Bye.
All right, take care. So yeah, guys, don't forget, go out and WLFE-DB.com, live streams of our shows and so much more. We are now streaming our live shows there, so you can go and check them out right on the website, so you don't have to go anywhere else. You can go right to WLFE-DB.com. All right, and to Jim, James, S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S, that is his paranormal group. Make sure you check that out. Find him on Facebook. Give him a like. And tonight's episode was brought to you by Mysterious Adventures Tours at gmail.com. Guys, I'm looking for people to go to Ireland with me. I'm not going to play the video tonight because we went over. But if you're interested in going to Ireland with me next summer, please let me know and I'll send you some information. It's going to be a fun trip. All right, guys, don't forget, go like and share and subscribe. Please go subscribe to my Facebook or my YouTube page. If you have not done it, please do it. Trying to get to 100 so that we can call it Talk with Teddy. So, all right, guys, take care of yourselves. And please look out after your neighbors, your family, and please stay safe. It's very, very, very important. Thank you and my guests for joining me here on Talk with Teddy. Tune in tomorrow night when we get to do this all over again. Be safe and look out for one another. Don't forget that Talk with Teddy is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So please go and subscribe. Thank you.